everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars New Canon Book Club. We're in it now. Mando number 7.
Nando's!
Nando's.
Sponsored
Oh
by
my
Nando's!
God. I'm so
There's
hungry.
just the one in this episode.
Yeah. This episode felt really good. I loved everything about this episode.
It had a different tone. It had an epic feel. This was like a cigarette smoking man episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Deborah Chow was back in the chair.
Chow's
So
chair.
good.
I agree that the acting was good. I think that the beginning suffered the same problem that they've all had, which is just like a lot to fit in a little bit of time. And so the pacing up front for me was like a little bit rushed, but like all the other episodes, they cool it down at the end and let you kind of sink into it, which I like.
It very much feels like the opposite of what I thought it was going to be.
You talking about how they assembled the team first?
Yeah, my assumption, I think we talked about this before, my assumption was like, oh, of course this is what's going to happen. He's going to drop the baby back off, and then he's going to have to get the team. But what happened before is he was like, I'm no dummy, I'm going to get the team in advance. And so I'm curious what that leads to in the next episode, because
Well, they're just...
who's the savior moment? Is it him?
My fear is that because they assembled the team beforehand, they're going to wrap this all up next episode.
I mean, I don't think they're going to wrap up the story of the Mandalorian next episode, but I think maybe this deal with Baby Yoda could be put to bed, and then we just get a new status quo by the end of season 1. But I don't think they're going to just wrap it up. I think there's definitely going to be like a huge cliffhanger here.
Well, I'm mildly spoiled because in one of the trailers, I remember vividly a scene that we have not seen yet.
Oh, we both.
And I'm like,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's why I'm like,
I want to know what you're talking about.
it is
do you
if
wanna
a
know?
flying. I mean,
It was
do you?
in the trailer, right? I saw this with my eyes.
it's the Mandalorian with a jetpack flying up,
Flying
and
after a TIE
intercepting
fighter.
the TIE fighter, and landing on the top of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the TIE fighter we see land in this episode. So I'm assuming at some point Moff Gideon gets away in the TIE fighter, and Mando's like, no, which means either he has Baby Yoda with him or he doesn't, and this is Mando like, I'm gonna finish you off. I don't know. I would love it if they fleshed out the Imperial Moff, and like when these dudes show up, they have full like clean armor.
Can I
So
speculate?
clearly there's something else going on that I would love to know more.
Come on. That's an Inquisitor.
You think that Gideon's an Inquisitor?
Yeah, I do.
He just has very Inquisitor-looking gear, but I don't
Dude,
think he's an Inquisitor.
They are trying to trick you with this whole situation, dude. I think that's what's going on here. I think this is a Force thing.
You think they made an Inquisitor a Moff?
No, I think there's no Moffs, dude. There's no Empire. Like, this is all just crazy people. This is like the apocalypse going on.
Yeah, he's
right
just a warlord, but he's like an
now.
Imperial
He's like,
warlord
no, I'm a
who...
Moff.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
wait,
it's...
You think he's a self-proclaimed Moff?
There's a bunch of those. Even in the old continuity, there's a bunch of guys who are just like, yeah, I'm Moff Joey. Like, I don't know.
Hey, Moff Joey.
Hey, Moff Joey. What's up, man? You can't come in here. I'm Moff Joey, baby.
Yeah, there was a lot of like Grand Admiral X or like Grand Admiral Dala. Like there was a bunch of Imperials in the old expanded universe. There's the Imperial Remnant. There was like the Outer Rim version. There were all these different Imperials. Even Thrawn's Imperial group wasn't like the main empire. So it's possible that there are a bunch of warlords who are like, I am the new empire.
To be honest with you, it's an aesthetic that I've kind of missed from the expanded universe.
They even fought each other. Empire versus empire. Yeah.
The only time period that we really haven't seen that much is like the main time period that the expanded universe used to exist.
Old expanded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I really feel like I'm like looking forward to after Rise of Skywalker, and I think this is like a first little baby step in. I think Baby Yoda has been trained.
Well, I do have a question about this, and this, you know, one of those things that we'll probably talk about when we go through the episode, but literally, I don't know how to register Baby Yoda's presence, because when they're arm wrestling, Baby Yoda's like, oh no, don't hurt the Mandalorian.
Right.
But Baby Yoda also knows when someone's really wounded and how Baby Yoda can help. Like, Baby Yoda understands, like, oh, I can help in this situation, but also doesn't know what real violence is. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
There's this weird, like, I know how to help, when to help, but also the childlike nature of, like, I don't understand some things yet. And I think it's that sort of in between where the real story of the character lies, because it's like, oh, what the hell is this kid? And why does everyone want him?
I'm starting to feel like it's coming together with like a Force thing, but I don't know.
Oh, it's definitely a Force thing. I think that it's simpler than all that. I think he's just a young baby, and I think that the powers are... The reason why you're questioning the powers is they're inconsistent because they use them based on story needs. Because a lot of time he's just like a little baby, just poking his head around, and he's just making cute noises and touching dials and flipping switches. And other times he's like clearly aware of the stakes of the scene and is an active participant in him. But I don't think we should read that as like more than just, you know, hinting at his like.
I mean,
power.
Look at adult Yoda though. He's this exact same way.
Yeah, he was that way for the first scene until he revealed that he was Yoda, and then he was not.
Well, because
but even when he's in The Last Jedi, he's like, I burnt down that tree, dummy.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, we don't know. Maybe these little Yoders are like fussy little guys. I don't know.
Little goofballs.
Little gremlins. You know, I don't know.
Little scamps.
Oh my God. Well, this was a great episode. We should jump into this.
It opens. They're in space. Baby Yoda and Mando are on the ship, and he gets an email, digital-style email, Harry Potter-style email from Grief Karga, who now is like a Deadwood character for some reason all of a sudden.
I want to point out the fact that when he started the email, I was like, this guy can act. Why does it sound like he's reading off a script? It all makes sense when the episode starts. You're like, oh, he was 100% reading off a script.
He was just faking it the whole time. The whole time he was putting on a voice. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But basically he's like, hey, Mando, hey, good news for you. He's like, hey, basically the Empire, that guy got really mad and he took over the entire city now. So we need to kill this guy. So we don't care. We will free you of your problem if you just bring him back, pretend like you're going to give it to him, and then you just pop him right in the face. What do you think? I'll see you guys there. Bye! Is that thing still on? And it turns off. And then basically that does not happen.
He does do that crappy vlogger thing where he like reaches forward to turn it off and it takes a second.
Hate that. I hate that. But basically he's like, I'll do it. He goes and he needs a team though. We don't like, this is not something he says out loud, but he just goes to back to Sorgan, which is the planet where he left Cara Dune, and now she is fighting with a Zabrak who I suspect is a guest star of some kind. I thought it might be Ray Park, but nobody said anything about who it is.
Did he even have any lines?
No, but he just had like
a lot of like.
Yeah, he was just very featured. But it looks like they have like a pod racer coupler between them, maybe. That's like
they're doing the West Side Story where you like tape your hands together for the knife fight kind of setup.
But they're basically tied together and they're fighting, and he's like pulling her in because he's like a big old Zabrak, and she like totally whoops his ass.
I want to point out,
chokes him with it.
Yeah.
She's never looked more attractive than in this scene. I was like, oh my God. I love her.
So basically, she beats this guy's ass. She gets her money. He's like, I need you to go on a job. She's like, hell no. He's like, it's Imperial. She's like, hell yes. She did not think 1 second. Everyone was like, it's Imperial.
I loved the implication that she said, look, I don't want to go be found because after I was a rebel drop trooper, I did some awful things. Like, that's a story. That's the comic story. Like, what did she do in between?
Because she's like, I've been a lot of things or something like that. Yeah, there's...
She goes in, they're like doing a cool like weapon selection scene. And you get the cute scene of Baby Yoda being like, hello, I'm upside down. Dee, dee, dee.
Can I, again, let me ask you a question. This goes back to Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda, they're like, don't worry, Baby Yoda's fine up there. It's never been a problem before. Let's look at these weapons. She's like, I love guns. And he's like, yeah, I know, baby. And then Baby Yoda, you're right, peeks his head down, does the like, I'm looking around. And then immediately the ship gets into like trouble. Which means, does Baby Yoda realize that this is bad news and did this on purpose?
I don't know what he was doing. He doesn't want to go to Queel because he knows, I mean, he doesn't want to go to Queel because he knows Queel's going to get aced.
I don't know. I mean, they don't go.
Because Yoda can see the future, right? That's his whole deal.
I mean, he does have visions. That's how he, like, again, for people who did not watch Clone Wars, in Clone Wars, literally Yoda, he sees everything that happens at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Like, he knows that's what's going to go down, and he lets it happen.
They basically tried to explain why such a powerful Jedi wouldn't do anything to stop.
I mean, that's what it is. That's very much what it is, but it also is like...
For like 17 years.
And so it's possible that that's like a feature of their species or the Force that he has. But maybe it also could be that he knew that someone needed to take care of him, so that's why, because of that action, they went to go get Quill, or whatever his name is.
I definitely had the same sort of, like, thought about that when that happened. I was like, did he just, like, Is he like manipulating them?
Right. I couldn't figure out.
It definitely could be it. I'm just going to be that lame guy again who's like, I think it was just a convenient, cute thing to have him do to just bring the other people together.
That's very Clone Warsy. You could be very right, but like, I just want it to be more.
Can't you just like lock the controls? That just seems like Mando needs to like, it's clear he's not used to rolling with like a roommate or anything. He needs to just top to bottom rethink the way he does his life.
It's true. He's He's living that bachelor's life. He needs to clean it up. So then the Ugnaught gets in like Imperial versus Rebel, sort of like Rex and Kanan style fight with Cara Dune for a little bit. They talk, and then IG-11 pops in, but now he's like a T-bot. Robot butler, and he tells this like really like beautiful stop motion story. Well, it's not actually stop motion. He tells the story of how he restores him, and he basically convinces the Mandalorian, like, if you trust me, my will is in this robot. Which now,
because he got rid of all his programming. He basically like fathered. He was like a dad to this little guy. And
right. And now that I know that, you know, this is like sort of him passing the torch to IG-11, I get it now. Like, I was like, why are they spending so much time on this? And now that I know that he gets aced, it like totally makes sense, because now
I think it's like season 2, the new buddy dynamic.
Yeah, it's Mando trying to like get over the droid thing and accepting IG-11 as his like Chewbacca probably.
It explains two things that I thought were always confusing to me. One, why that second episode was the way it was, why they spent so much time on that character, but also why all the posters are literally the Mandalorian, IG, and Cara Dune. I was like, oh, that's the setup for the future. Like, those are the main characters.
That's his actual crew, yeah.
That's the real crew, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Mando's like, no droids, and he's like, dude, trust me. And he gets to bring the blurgs with him when Queel joins him to take care of the kid. Because he just wants to bring Queel first, but Queel's like, I'm way too old to take care of a baby. Use this cyber droid who murdered us. He's way better. He's like, yeah, you're right. But the blurgs come, they like, I was already thinking to myself at this point, how the fuck are these all fitting in this ship? What is, like, how are they all in there?
He literally just ropes them into the area where all the other guys in the last episode were sitting.
Right, exactly. It's just so funny. Like, the ship seems almost like TARDIS-like at this point. But
yeah.
I think it probably does fit. It doesn't seem like it should. Then Cara and the Mandalorian are having an arm wrestling match, and they're like in it, and the Mandalorian's like, let's juice it up. Let's take it up a notch. But then Baby Yoda's like, leave the Mando alone. And he force chokes Cara Dune, but he doesn't just force choke her. He does the like motion of Darth Vader force choking Cara Dune.
I thought he was going to try and manipulate it so that she lost the fight. When he like dark-sided her, I was like,
I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, this is cute.
Yeah.
It got intense.
Obviously, you're supposed to like question whether this baby's good or bad right here. But to me, the thing that's more weird to me is that it seems like maybe this baby has some training in the Force. It's almost like he did like a Sith move. You know what I mean? This one was much more like a thing. Queel is like, I've heard of this. Like this could be a thing. And
as he's about to explain everything, they literally stop having the conversation.
Yeah, I think he was
He's like, I've heard of this before. It reminds me of, and they're like, okay, let's move on. Can you make a pram? Can you make like a new one for us?
But yeah, so he makes a new like armored Dark Knight Returns Superman fighting stroller. And for the baby that he uses now, that looks more like an egg than ever before. It's like a metal version of the old one, basically. And
it does look like a little mini Kal-El rocket.
It does. It really does. Like, that's exactly what I'm thinking of when I'm looking at it. They just all are chilling on the planet now. They're all on their, like, ugly-ass, what are they called? Blurgs? They're, like, just, like, standing there chilling.
What is the name of the main planet? Navarro?
Yeah. And so they end up meeting them, like, outside of town instead with these weird bounty hunters that don't even get names. And Carl Weathers is literally talking like he is Al Swearingen from Deadwood. I don't know what he's like. The choice was definitely a choice to be, I am pretending to talk. I don't know anybody who actually does that when they lie. Do you?
Yeah, he's like a terrible liar.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst liars, period. And everyone's just like, we shouldn't trust him. He's like, we have no choice.
Yeah.
But he has like two different tones. He has like fronting. Because he talks like that way when he's in front of, if I recall, when he's back in the bar in the earlier scenes, when he's talking loudly so that the other bounty hunters can hear him like praise or make him jealous. I think that's what he's doing, is theatrical.
Yeah.
Like the grief that he wants you to think he is. And then when shit gets real, he's just more regular Carl Weathers.
Yeah, and speaking of shit getting real, they're sitting out by a fire, like having dinner on their way. They basically both brought more people to the party than they agreed to. So they like have a tense scene of, yeah, all right, whatever, let's all just go, like, let us do this, like, we're gonna get through this. And then they're camping, and then he's like, what could go wrong? I'm Grief Karga. Oh, shit! Because it's like a fucking pterodactyl from Jurassic Park 3 comes in, and it's like a raid party of pterodactyls, and every blurg gets aced. Like, one blurg is left at the end of this, maybe. Like, and they...
One of the bounty hunters gets picked up and taken away.
It's just
Grief gets his arm cut up.
Sloppy performance from all the fighters in this scene, but I guess they were blindsided in the dark by flying demons, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But man, they got bodied by this, and then most importantly, they have poison talons, and Grief is laying there with like a big scratch on his arm, like, oh shit, well, I guess this is how I'm going. And she's like, shut the fuck up.
Can we just talk about the fact that I love when anything in Star Wars uses expanded universe stuff, and she's like, does anyone have a med kit? Does anyone have med packs? Like, she uses a stim on him. I was just like,
yeah, you got like
all of
some
this
Star Wars stuff.
It's like we matter a little bit for 1 second.
A little tiny bit.
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit.
how I feel.
yeah. I was like, oh, they didn't have to do that, but they did that. Yeah.
All those years of time we've spent, it all means something now.
But you guys didn't like it when they had the pit droids.
That's not expanded universe. That's fucking
what do you
prequel
mean?
Bullshit. That's prequel front and center bullshit, Alex.
I made Grandpa angry. I'm
Alexander
sorry.
Fasciani.
No, he's hurt. He's dying. He's like, just leave me. I'm not long for this world. I'm Grief Karga, Mando. And basically, the Baby Yoda's like, I got this, motherfuckers. And he just like goes over, and they're all just like, what? And he just like goes over and he just touches it, and nobody says anything.
Force heals.
Yeah.
Well, someone, I don't remember which character, someone's like, what is he doing? But other than that, everyone's like, yo, let this kid do his thing.
Grief said, he's trying to eat me.
Yeah,
because he's stupid. But basically, we see for the first time like a power that I only thought I was ever going to see in video games. At least like this, like Wolverine style healing.
Yeah.
Basically, now they're about to like get to the town. The morning has come. Grief is fine. Right as the two guys that came with Grief are about to ace Mando.
Well, there's a scene before that. As they wake up the next day and they begin to walk towards the town, and Kara and Mando are just like, I don't know if we can trust these guys, because you see Grief talking with the two bounty hunters, and they're like in hushed tones whispering. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know if we can trust these guys. Clearly something's up. And as they get to the town and they look over the edge, Grief turns around and just blasts these two dudes.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I was gonna kill you, but then the Baby Yoda saved my arm, so now I'm fucked up about it, so I'm not gonna do it. Here's your gun. We're gonna go in and it's gonna be the Wookiee trip. We're gonna do the Wookiee prisoner trick.
And Kara's just like, kill this dude. Kill this dude right now. Do not keep him alive. You cannot trust him. And he's like, no, trust me, Mando. There's like guys down there. We can get in there. I'll be on your side, and then we'll reinstate you. Like, I want them dead. You want them dead. I was gonna kill you, but like, I'm not gonna kill you. And the Mando's like, you've convinced me.
Yeah,
and
it works out.
they team up.
It's showing that he's learning to trust people. Okay, it's character growth or whatever.
Yeah,
their plan is crazy because I don't know. Their plan is we're gonna go in. Kara's gonna wrap a band around her arm, and they're gonna...
Well, they think there's gonna be 4 stormtroopers.
Right.
According to what Grief says. So that's why this is their plan, is to just walk in and shoot this guy in the face.
But the plan is also insane, because they're like, okay, Quill, take the baby back to the ship, and we will take an empty baby egg down there. Like, somehow they're not gonna be like, can I see it? I don't know why they thought this was smart. The entire time I'm like, y'all are setting yourselves up for failure. Why are you doing this?
Well, they just needed to get close enough to him to pop him in the head.
Sure.
Right? Like,
they say a bunch of times, if you kill him, they're gonna run away, or they're gonna like, once there's no paycheck, they'll flip sides and they'll like, you know, Grief's the man that has the job. So their assumption is all they have to do is get close enough to kill him and problem solved, basically.
Yeah. So they roll in through the town, like that main drag from episode 3. And it's so crazy how cool these 2 speeder bike troopers are. The most badass looking, lackadaisical. They could have been smoking cigarettes in front of a high school, these 2 scout troopers. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Go back and look at these 2 tough customers. These guys were like, we're going to kill Nick Nolte later, motherfucker.
The one guy was literally just like, I'll give you 20 credits for the helmet. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And Carl Weathers is like, hell no, that's going on my wall. And then literally in front of the stormtroopers, he's like, your wall? And he's like, don't tell them that.
They say all of their things just in front of the stormtroopers in a way that it's you got to make the movie happen, but it's like
so brazen. I just thought it was super weird that they were like just talking about their plan out loud.
But there are way more stormtroopers. There's tons in the city.
They've occupied the town. It's just like he said at the beginning. The last blurg has Quill on it, and he's like headed back as the plan goes into action. He's headed back to the ship to like seal himself in there with the baby. But they meet Werner Herzog, who now is like double crazy. I don't know what happened to him. His eyes are like half the size they were last time we saw him. He's like morphing into Emperor Palpatine. He looks fucking crazy.
Probably because he failed. I would imagine he got a scolding after he lost the baby, right?
I guess so. And he's like, hello, welcome. I want to have that. Can I see the baby? And then he's like, oh, he's sleeping. He's like, we'll be so quiet to the baby. Ooh.
But more importantly, they give us a little bit of a hint about the Mandalorian massacre that they
do, yeah.
They mentioned that they rejected the expansion or whatever they were saying, so I guess they were trying to like colonialize or do something to Mandalore more so than they had in the past, and that led to some friction.
Well, it definitely hints at what makes it sad is if you watch Rebels. In Rebels, literally it's like, oh, Sabine and her family revolted against the Imperial occupation that was there. So what the hint is like, literally, they revolted and the Empire came back and killed every last one of them.
Yeah, especially, I mean, once you watch season 4 of Rebels, you'll see like exactly what happened to the Mandalorians pretty much.
Did you already watch it?
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, but I'm watching it.
Damn.
But the Mandalorian storyline literally is like
about this
part
almost.
1.
Yeah. It's not directly referencing some type of purge or anything, but if you've seen Rebels, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together about maybe what happened to the Mandalorians. Can I offer you a libation to celebrate the closing of our shared narrative? Just wanted to say that.
Love that. I love that line, by the way. I loved it.
What a line. I don't think we're ever going to find out who he is, though. Can I be honest with you?
It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, exactly.
That dude
exactly.
is dead.
So he's like, the baby's asleep. He's like, oh, don't worry. We'll be quiet. He gets a call, and he's like, I gotta go. It's crazy. Sorry, guys. I gotta go. And then a kneeling bus version of a TIE fighter comes and shows up. And just because its wings fold in half, it looks so much scarier. It looks like a bug landing on the ground.
Dude, it's like he sprung for like the sports package.
Yeah, he has like the TIE Fighter S. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you that like is what it's called, probably.
The phone call is Moff Gideon. And he's just like, hey, pal, you got that baby? He's like, oh, yeah, the baby, it's in the pram. And he's like, I don't know about that. And then everyone gets shot up. Dude, literally the entire room explodes in laser fire. And I thought at first, I was like, oh, damn, Cara Dune just went crazy. Nope.
But yeah, he's like, I am onto all your bullshit. I have Darth Vader energy. I kind of look like Walt Disney.
Dude, well, because at first, all they showed, though, was just a squad of death troopers. The like
6 death troopers?
The like sexiest troopers in the whole. I love them, and I love they brought back.
Herzog takes one right through the chest. Everybody dies. I think the bartender lives, thank God, but maybe not.
He like scoots out quickly or whatever. Yeah. I just feel bad because Werner Herzog was so great, and I know that like they had to kill him off to be like, this guy's even worser. But my favorite dialogue in the show is just him explaining stuff. The way he's like angry and bitter about his like, oh, have things really changed a lot since the revolution? Because we used to bring like peace, prosperity, order. Everybody we touched was. I'm like.
He had a great take on Imperial like arrogance.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Moff Gideon is like, hello, you have my thing. He says something like, you have no idea how important this is to me. He says like, it's more important than you'll ever know.
It's Project Resurrection. Do you understand?
It just made it sound. This is more of the reason why I think there's like a Jedi element to this that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. They are trapped. And there are all these like stormtroopers get off of the transport that we've only ever seen in Rebels. And there's like, you know, a ton of stormtroopers outside, like a whole battalion. And they're like, Quill, where the hell are you? Get back to the ship.
And these are like the clean boys.
Yes,
too.
they are not the dirty ass stormtroopers. These are like actual. They probably have a starship somewhere, and he's just like, "Yo, get back there, close the blast doors, get in that ship, like turn on automated defenses, get out of there." And somehow, I imagine because they were scrambling signals or something, I don't know, the boys from the beginning, the speeder bike boys, hear the whole conversation and are like, all right. And they jump on their speeder bikes and straight up run Quill down.
They take him out.
Down.
They take him the fuck out. He's done. He's burnt out like Owen and Baru.
It's a bummer.
I'm sad, but at least now we get Taika Waititi, the fun droid. But we have to wait 10 whole days for the resolution on this. A week and a half. That's crazy. Davis won't even be here.
Yes. The next one is Taika Waititi's episode. It's the big conclusion. This is like harder for me to miss, I think, than Rise of Skywalker.
I don't know, man. I think I have high hopes for Rise of Skywalker. But that's where you'll see us next, for sure.
Yeah.
Me and Jesse, that is. Just so you guys know out there, we're also going to wait for Davis to come back and get his thoughts on the movie as well and do like a little recap of it. So we'll see you guys.
We're gonna do 2 episodes, right?
We're going to do one of the movie when it comes out, and then we're going to do one when you get back with your fresh take.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, watching, whatever. We'll be back with a episode 9 discussion and then more Mando. And we're trying to get comics and things done. Don't worry, gang. More to come.
Rebel Season 4.
Yes, of course. Davis?
And remember, keep your friends close and reprogram your droids to serve you tea.
You know, where's the payoff? Bring the strippers and booze! We do occasionally talk about video games. Bring the strippers and booze! Out of time for video games. Bring the strippers and booze!
Oh, thank God, I don't need pants now.
Hey, JC, what are you doing? Not much. Making a fortune.
It's a production of broadcast.
Yeah, now sing music.
It's a production of broadcast.
Bring the strippers and booze!
It's a production of broadcast.
I'm here to ask and answer one simple question.
It's a production of broadcast.
You got